day, welcome to News Express. Today, we take a closer look at a political movement that is quietly evolving beyond its original identity and geographic boundaries. What began as a support base within Nigeria is now being described by some as a broader ideological movement, one that is attracting attention across Africa and within the global diaspora. The movement in question is widely known as the Obidient movement, built around the political influence and vision of Peter Obi. To better understand this shift, our correspondent reached out to an Obidient supporter based in Los Angeles, in the United States. The individual, who requested to remain anonymous, provided a perspective that challenges the commonly held view that the movement is limited to Nigerians alone. According to him, the Obidient identity has expanded significantly, both in reach and in meaning. In a detailed conversation, the source explained that being obedient today is no longer defined by nationality, tribe, or even physical location. Instead, he described it as an ideological alignment rooted in shared values such as respect for the rule of law, commitment to democratic principles, and a collective desire to see a more accountable and effective system of governance in Nigeria. In his words, anyone who believes in these ideals and supports a better future for Nigeria can identify as obedient, regardless of where they come from. This perspective suggests a shift from a traditional political support base to something more fluid and inclusive. Rather than being a structured organization with defined membership, the Obidient movement appears to be evolving into a decentralized network of individuals connected by common beliefs. This, according to the source, is one of the reasons it has been able to grow beyond Nigerians' border and attract interest from across the African continent. The anonymous supporters highlighted that several of his friends from countries such as Ghana, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, and Liberia have openly embraced the Obidient identity. He noted that these individuals are not directly involved in Nigerian politics, yet they follow developments closely and have developed a strong interest in the outcome of Nigerians' leadership trajectory. Their support, he said, is driven by the belief that Nigerians' direction has broader implications for the African region as a whole. According to him, this growing cross-border interest reflects a wider sentiment among many Africans who are increasingly concerned about governance, economic stability, and institutional integrity within their respective countries. In that context, the rise of a political figure who emphasizes discipline, transparency, and reform is seen not just as a national development, but as a potential example for the region. He described Peter Obi as a figure whose message resonates beyond Nigeria because it speaks to shared challenges faced by many African nations. The conversation also touched on the origins of the Obidient movement and the narrative that have emerged around it. In recent months, there have been claims from various individuals suggesting that they were responsible for creating or funding the movement. The source firmly rejected these claims, stating that the Obidient movement was not established by any single person or organized groups. Instead, he described it as a spontaneous and organic development that grew out of a collective desire for change. He emphasized that this decentralized nature is what gives the movement its strength and resilience. Without a central authority controlling its direction, it has been able to adapt, expand, and attract supporters from diverse backgrounds. At the same time, this lack of formal structure also presents challenges, particularly when it comes to maintaining a unified message and managing differing interpretations of what the movement stands for. Despite these challenges, the source remained confident about the core identity of the movement. He stated clearly that all Obedients, regardless of their location or background, are united by a common objective. That objective, he explained, is to see Peter Obi emerge as the next president of Nigeria. According to him, this support is not based on blind loyalty or emotional attachment, but on belief in Obi's capacity, vision, and mission to reposition Nigeria. He further explained that for many supporters, Obi represents a departure from traditional political patterns that have dominated Nigeria for decades. His approach to governance, which emphasizes fiscal responsibility, institutional reform, and accountability, is seen as a necessary shift at a time when many Nigerians are demanding greater transparency and efficiency from their leaders. This perception, he argued, is what has enabled the movement to maintain momentum even beyond the election cycle. At the same time, the growing international dimension of the Obedience movement raises important questions about the nature of political engagement in an increasingly interconnected world. While elections are conducted within national boundaries, the conversations and narrative that shape them are no longer confined by geography. Social media, digital platforms, and diaspora networks have created new avenues for political ideas to spread, influence, and evolve. In this context, the expansion of the Obidient identity beyond Nigeria can be seen as part of a broader trend in which political movements are becoming more transnational in character. This does not necessarily mean that external supporters have a direct impact on electoral outcomes, but it does suggest that the ideas and values associated with a movement can gain traction far beyond their point of origin. However, it is also important to approach such claims with a degree of caution. While the perspectives shared by their anonymous supporters provide valuable insights, it represents one viewpoint within a complex and diverse political landscape. The extent to which the Obedience movement has truly expanded across Africa and the level of influence it holds outside Nigeria remains a subject of ongoing discussion and analysis. Nevertheless, what cannot be ignored is the fact that the conversation itself is evolving. The idea that a Nigerian political movement could resonate with individuals across different countries speaks to a growing awareness of shared challenges and aspirations within the region. It also highlights the role of leadership narrative in shaping perceptions and expectations, not just within a country, but beyond it. As Nigeria looks ahead to its next election cycle, the question of how movements like this will develop and what role they will play becomes increasingly important. Will the Obedience movement continue to grow and consolidate its support base? Will it translate its ideological appeal into political success? And how will it navigate the challenges that will come with expansion and diversification? For now, what we are witnessing is a movement in transition from a domestic support base to a broader ideological network, from a campaign identity to a continuing political force. Whether this transformation will ultimately strengthen its impact or complicate its trajectory remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The definition of what it means to be obedient is no longer fixed. It is evolving, expanding, and according to some supporters, crossing borders in ways that few could have predicted just a few years ago. And as that evolution continues, so too will the conversation around Nigeria's political future. That's all for now on News Express. To our amazing viewers, kindly like, share, and subscribe this video. I'm Chidera Esom. Do have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching.